Hey everybody, BigBlackHatMan here, and no Western thought today. And the reason for that's simple. I had an episode ready, scripted, planned. I was going to shoot it this morning, and then my friend, who's going to be in it, had to cancel. He had a family thing, so no big deal. I understood. I was like, yeah, go do your family thing. And so I tried to regroup yesterday afternoon and get another episode around, and I have ideas and I have things that I'm going to do, but I didn't have quite a quick a pickup to do another episode. So there's no Western thought today. And so I'm just going to do some announcements, and you may be noticing the time down there, and you're like, well, this is going to be a long video. He's going to talk forever. Well, yes and no. On the back part of this video, there's going to be a commentary on an episode of Behind the Webcam, because I've been wanting to talk about that show for a while, and I thought, well, this is the opportunity. And the reason I'm doing that also is because I'm doing a commentary on Sydney's episode of Behind the Webcam, because I'm her Secret Santa. Maybe I should do like a Christmas effect. Nah, I'm not into effects. So I'm like, that's it. That's all you're getting. I have two things planned for the Secret Santa thing. And this is the first, and there will be a written article later. I haven't got to that yet, but I will do that eventually. Probably mid-December. We'll see. But the cat's out of the bag. It's going to be here. Also, I want to make a couple quick announcements before we go into the commentary on the Behind the Webcam episode and half my present to Sydney. The first announcement is that everything's going really well. Western Thought, Behind the Webcam, and the Manic Expression Digression session, they're all flowing along nicely. Western Thought's going to run up through mid-December, and then I'm going to take a break from it, probably till mid-January. And the simple reason for that is because at my work, we lose days off over the holiday. I go to a one-day weekend for 2 straight weeks there. And so I'm just going to back off and not do Western Thought there for a few weeks to simplify my life when I'm trying to spend these extra hours at work, and I have some family commitments and things, and it's just a lot to try and balance out. I'm going to attempt to continue Behind the Webcam. I'm going to attempt, I've got a lot of episodes out to people, a lot of people who are working with me on episodes, and during that period I'll try to keep doing those, but I'm not giving you any guarantees because, like I said, it's going to be a very busy period for me, the end of December, early January. But then, once that's gone, I'll hit it full stride again. And then a digression session, a lot of fun doing that. I'm getting really fast at turning those out, too, by the way. I think the sound quality's gotten way up since we started. Those are getting to be really good. In fact, Brett Club 85, so this is on him, he had an idea. And I liked the idea, and we're going to run with this. I don't know when. At some point, though, I intend to run with this. Sort of like one-on-one debates on issues, and I could talk to somebody individually. He and I will undoubtedly do the first episode since it was his idea, and I'm now working with the idea, and just have sit-down conversations, like short little 15-20 minute podcasts where we talk about something, an issue, an individual issue, and we have something we want to talk about, and I'm going to leave it as a surprise. And so I'll work with other people. I was thinking about calling it the digression debates, and see what people think of that. Just throwing that out there. That's still a German idea. It's like a little germ. It's not fully blossomed yet. So don't worry about that one too much. But it is something I want people to think about going forward. And let's see. Is there anything else I have to talk about? No, I think that's pretty much it. So I'm going to kick it right over to the commentary on the Behind the Webcam episode. Thanks for watching and enjoy the commentary. Hi everyone, welcome to this commentary of Behind the Webcam. Today I'm talking about my episode I did with Sydney, which is the second episode of Behind the Webcam, which corresponds to the fact that I'm her Secret Santa, so doing a commentary on this episode. I probably should do a commentary on the Fusionator episode because that's actually the first one, but I'm doing this one because of the Secret Santa thing. And Sydney, who is a great person. She's just a very lovely person, and how much more can I compliment her? And thank her for being the second ever guest on my sort of silly little show here. And there she is. There's Sydney. Yay! Yeah, they're doing the applause, so you can't hear it. So I'm gonna turn it down, but my fake applause.
Happy to have you here.
I found that sound effect on my editing program. I was like, I've got to include it in all these. So I recently changed it though to a little bit better, crisper sound I got off the internet. So,
we shall begin right away.
but I guess I should start talking about the actual episodes. So I just continue to ramble. And for those who don't know how this show works, it's kind of simple. What I do is I send an email with what I need for the scenes from the person, and then I go back and I shoot the wall stuff and I edit it all together. And Sydney was actually really fast. She actually came back quite quickly with, I think I sent her the questions, and within 3 or 4 days she had the video clips I needed. So, yeah, and here she is starting her answer. She gave very sweet answers. I like the how I've gotten a lot of different sort of answers from people on these things. I've gotten some really funny ones, some really good jokes, and some really sincere things. And she really went with the sincere, and I did enjoy that. And I will say too that it's always surprising to me how much difference in length there is in these episodes. Some of them will run like right at 5 or 6 minutes, and then some, like hers, was the longest at about 16 minutes. And you know, it just depends on how much everybody feels like talking. And she did like I said, I really enjoyed the job she did. I really enjoyed the job everybody's done actually so far. And like I said, Fusionator was the first, and honestly I need to apologize to that guy just a touch. I hope he's listening to this, because I didn't know exactly what I wanted when I did his episode, and to this day when I watch it I go, oh, I screwed up. I made some mistakes in this episode. By the time I started doing Sydney's, I don't think there was much I made in the way of mistakes. I pretty much kind of had my format. I mean, it's still advancing, as you can tell, because I just changed the intro to the show, for those who have been following it regularly. And here she is, thanking everybody, naming all the people out there. Like I said, her interview is very sweet, and I really, really enjoyed it when I saw it. I was surprised, you know, she was much different than Fusionator had been, and I enjoyed them both. I've enjoyed everybody's, and especially she's telling Wallace about Mark, which actually inspired a joke. I have to thank Sydney for that joke. I ended up using it as kind of I kind of had a little thing in mind, and then she did that line. I thought, well, now I've got to run with the joke. If you guys watch Western Thought, you know there's an episode where it starts out with Wallace and BigBlackHatMan debating who Mark is. And, you know, like they don't know who that person is. I oversold the joke a little bit when I did it, and so I do feel a little bit bad about that. But I did inspire that joke, which is one of my funnier cold openings to Western Thought. I appear to really like the cold opening, by the way, because, you know, even this show has one, too, where Wallace just says, "You're watching Behind the Webcam." Actually says, "You're watching Behind the Webcam." Slip into a little Wallace voice there. I have one of the funniest questions. I think it was James Bevan who was like, "How do you do that Wallace voice?" And there's a very simple answer to how the Wallace voice is done, and that is to assume everything you're saying is much more important than it actually is. Just presume.
A beautiful answer.
It's like the Mona Lisa. You are the Mona Lisa with every single word you say. A little pretentious and over the top, and
so powerful.
Very, very artsy. And of course, James Lipton. I mean, you know, anybody who's watched Inside the Actor's Studio with James Lipton can tell where I got the whole idea from. I mean, it's a straight parody ripoff of that. And there's my set. My simple set. Which is basically, it's in my bedroom. That's my bookshelf. That's a black blanket over my hat rack. And I'm sitting in a chair, and that's it. And if you look at those books very carefully, you can tell they're mostly American history books when I was getting my degrees. I think my John Stewart books are there somewhere too. I'm not sure. Oh, and here we're talking about Twilight. You know, as big as that thing is, I watched like 10 minutes of one movie, and that's it. And I know everybody hates it, and I understand why they hate it from their reviews, but I know almost nothing about it. And you know what? I'm going to continue on in that ignorance. I'll read Sydney's Charlie stories, which are great. If you have not read the Charlie stories, you really should, because they're like a legitimate action, like the action horror genre. And she does have a little bit of a love story, but it's off to the side, and it's a lot more realistic. I guess. Like I said, I don't know what actual Twilight's like, and I'm not going to know, because I refuse to know. I'm going to continue on in my ignorance. I'll just live with the There's crack in the pages that they snorted. That makes me laugh every time. I love that line. Crack in the pages. I think you smoke crack though, Sydney. You don't actually. You snort cocaine. Not that I know. I don't have any experience with it, but I'm pretty sure you smoke crack. Yeah. Lonely little bitch. Oh yeah. I forgot she does have this very funny. It's been a while since I've watched this episode, and now I'm starting to regret that because I was talking about how sweet it is earlier. But this part's really funny where she's talking about how much she doesn't like Twilight. This part is really actually pretty funny. Yeah. I think Sydney has a nice camera presence. You know, she hasn't done a lot of videos, but she's got that. She exudes confidence. I think that's the issue. When you do videos, you know, as long as you believe what you're saying, you're all right. You know, slipping in and out of characters and things can be a little difficult sometimes. I understand that. That's probably the biggest challenge I've had. You know, with Wallace, I don't show it very much. I always show one or two outtakes at the end, but I end up with a lot of blah 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 blah, blah stumbles because I don't have that hard time doing the accent. But if I kind of forget what I'm saying, it's easy to slip out of it to go back to my normal voice, which you're hearing now. It's it's easy to go, well, you know, it's kind of like this, but then it easily slips back into my real voice if I'm sort of stumbling through some things. Even though I will say the last episode I did where you saw the longer outtake, I somehow managed to stay in the voice all throughout the outtake, which was pretty good. I'm getting better at it, so yeah. And here's Sydney talking about how Charlie became the main character in her version of Twilight, which is a vastly more interesting story. I'm gonna just keep promoting her Charlie story because her Charlie story is really good. If you guys haven't had a chance to read it, I read it as she produced it, you know, on the site, you know, one little chapter at a time, and really enjoyed it. So, you know, I encourage everybody to go and read that. You know, yeah, like I said, promotion, my shameless self-promotion issues that I have from, you know, Mac Expression Digression session. Which, by the way, does anybody have noticed that I might be losing my mind at this point? Because I think I've got so many different characters and accents I'm running through. I'm pretty sure I'm going to forget some and just jumble them together at some point. Just start mixing up characters. That should be my April Fool's Day joke, is have somebody else host Behind the Webcam. Maybe Goofball, because he doesn't talk. And that would be...
Excellent reasons.
That might be a little bizarre, but it might work really well.
Polarizing for those who are sillily enjoying it, and for those of us who know better.
Here we go. Here's Wallace.
So
Wallace overacting.
Just $1.
Wallace is the most heavy overactor in the history of overactors. He's bigger than Jim Carrey, I think, in terms of not being able to deliver lines straight, just overacting.
The family trust fund does, but that's beside the point.
Actually, I forgot my line there.
Oh yes.
I mean, sometimes when I look off to the side and I'm doing the brilliant thing, it's just because I literally don't know what I'm going to say next, and I have to think for just a moment to get back on track. So brilliant, just brilliant.
I am impressed with your answer.
Which might become a little bit of a meme on the site, according to Les, which I would love. I would love. Anybody can say brilliant anytime. I don't care. You know, free of charge. Just say brilliant. Or use clips of Wallace saying brilliant. I don't care. You can do it. It's cool. But usually when I'm doing that, like I was saying, I'm thinking of where I'm going. And here we are. We're getting to confusing questions. I love the confusing questions. I love the fact that I asked two straight questions, which, you know, people can just give us the straight answers, give us the poop on themselves, and just, you know, have fun with at the same time being very informative on themselves. And that's the straight interview part. However, these next two questions are just bizarre and out there, and people get to have fun. And that's where we've gotten some of these great answers. And just the really funny things like infamous Jack breaking his toes, and, you know, movie fan 12 put on the nice hat, and James with his Playboy, and, you know, a Fusionator with his clear confusion. I remember his confusion very well in the first question. It was just great. You could tell it was the first episode, you know, and he was a little caught off guard by how weird that question was. But, I don't know, I'm probably forgetting somebody or something because... And I've got a lot of these out right now, and I'm going to have a lot more of these. I hope to do these. Oh, I forgot Gurney Chimp and his alcohol bottle. That's what I forgot. Ah, I like that one. I almost forgot. Like I said, like I was starting to say, though, before I remembered Gurney Chimp, because I'm a jerk. I'm hoping to do more of these going forward, of course. It's something that I'm starting to really enjoy. I like the crossover nature of it. I like how everybody gets to have fun with it. And, you know, and it gets everybody out there. You know, if you weren't feeling that good about your video presence, I think it's a good opportunity to improve that. So, you know, if you just started into videos or you've been doing it for a long time, sign up for Behind the Webcam. I will gladly submit you to Wallace A. Biff von Huffle the Fourth. Which, by the way, if you remember early on, I screwed up his name every once in a while. I spelled it wrong. Yeah, I had a hard time deciding if I wanted to spell Huffle PH or FF. And finally I decided PH was way more pretentious, so his name has to be spelled with the PH rather than the FF. But I made a joke about that too, with Wallace telling BigBlackHatMan at one point that Mark spells his name wrong. So, and then I should actually comment a little bit on the video here again. And Sydney answering this last one. Yeah. So she gives this really humble answer here on this question. It's just supposed to be straight up silly, but I love her answer. Like that. And here come the glasses. Yeah. That actually makes me laugh a little bit every time. I love what you guys do, and you guys are great. And all you guys who've done this episode, thanks. All the ones that are coming, I'm sure I'm gonna have so much fun. I do actually have another one of these I'm sitting on right now that will hopefully be coming out later this week. Of course, for those of you where I'm doing this Thanksgiving week, and so I have my own Thanksgiving priorities and things. And hopefully it's done by Saturday, no later. I'm gonna save who the guest is and keep my pocket. Surprise you, surprise. Oh wow. I'm just gonna quickly to thank everybody who's been on the show so far, because it was such an experimental show. You know, Fusionator, I give a lot of thanks to him for taking the step out there and doing the first one and exposing himself to it before it was clear exactly what the show would be. And his episode was great. I mean, he did a great job responding. And it's a starter episode, and I made mistakes, and I apologize to him for that. And I thank, you know, Sydney and Gurney Chimp and Infamous Jack and Movie Fan 12 and James for stepping up and doing this, you know, kind of silly little thing. Man, I love it. It's just, this has worked out so well. And here's Wallace saying brilliant again. I don't know if I've got brilliant into every episode, but I definitely should from now on for sure do brilliant. Even if I do know exactly what I'm going to say, I should definitely say brilliant at some point. I say beautiful sometimes too. I don't just always say brilliant. I say beautiful.
Unfortunately, we are out of time. Would you please like to say some
we got the wrap up here.
Leave all the people with.
I've often considered misusing some larger words occasionally with Wallace just to humanize him a bit, but I've shied away from that, making him kind of look foolish to this point. The most foolish he's looked is that one cold opening of Western Thought that I did just last week, where BigBlackHatMan shot the book out of his hand. But that's I think the most foolish he's looked, because he's already sort of a silly character. I don't think I need to work to make him seem any sillier. So, and Sydney doesn't do drugs, which proves that she doesn't know why you smoke crack rather than snort it. You snort cocaine, Sydney. Just trying to help you out with your recreational drug use that I don't want you to start. I don't want anybody to start drugs. I don't do drugs. I don't even drink alcohol. So the show's gotten to be a weird PSA.
Mark, you say.
Oh,
I've never met him.
Talk about Mark again.
But I want to.
Yeah, I was twice in this episode, which is why I had to do the joke. So.
You have to get to work? Well, naturally, I would be remiss in holding you up from that. So we thank you once again.
We thank you. Well, thank you for being on Behind the Webcam.
That will wrap up today's show.
I like this. Here's, I don't know, just
I would like to say that if you would like
the point joke, the point of the floor joke.
Leave a comment.
I'm running out of sort of jokes for that. That won't be one I drop eventually because I don't know. I might always make a little thing there, but I made some pretty good jokes on that. But I don't know if it's going to go anywhere because you know you run out of steam on something like that eventually. The point of the floor joke.
So, thank you for
And
watching.
then we have the
Thank you,
closing,
Sydney.
which I've changed again recently.
Have a good night.
I think I'd have like, I start with behind the webcam, and then produced, and then the guest, and then the joke about Buck's Western Wear, which I don't know how many people get that joke, but I'm going to keep doing it. And here I am screwing up.
I am proud to bring you.
Way to go, dork.
you to remember.
All right. Well, thanks to Sydney. Merry Christmas, and to her for Secret Santa, or whatever holiday you celebrate, or if you're atheist or whatever. That's your business. I don't care. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.